Hey everyone, it's Will here with Flow Trade Effects. I'm bringing you guys a new video. This is going to be a breakdown. This week I took several trades, but I actually didn't record or do the breakdown for them. I did have a couple other things going on this week, so I was a little bit busy, but I still was trading and definitely active. And I for sure want to get you guys this little breakdown of my most recent trades from today. This is for Friday, and this is also the last day of the week, or for the market week. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap up and just go explain why I took these trades. And then I'm also going to be breaking down the GBP which is not a trade that I took specifically today, but I did upload that on my trading view. And I also want to invite you guys to come and follow me on trading view because that is where I often will post some of my setups before they happen or in the earlier stages of my analysis. I will usually post those up there, and it's a good way to maybe see my trades before they happen and then be able to watch and tag along with me while I'm actually like in the trade. So if you guys are interested in that, I would highly suggest you guys to follow me on TradingView. You can find me as Flow Trade Collective. I will definitely be changing that eventually to Flow Trade FX, but for right now, you can find me under Flow Trade Collective. And if you guys need a link to that, I will definitely post that somewhere in the description below. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So as you can see here behind my screen, I have two trades, um, both of which were taken within a short amount of time. The first one was a sell, and that was at 136,827, and then another was for another sell at 1.36804. So within about 2 pips, I put both of these trades down. My first trade I marked and set my parameters, meaning my stop loss and my take profit. And then my second trade I put down with respect to the first take profit and the stop loss. Now I did place these two trades in expectation that I would be able to close the bulk of my trade and then be able to have another portion of my trade to let run if price was to continue to drop further. But we did not necessarily get that, and I will explain what exactly happened and why I ended up with two closed trades and pretty much just get into it. But this one did hit my take profit. So my first trade, which was set up to my parameters, which I explained, I did actually have that hit my take profit, so I didn't have to actively manage this trade until I was on my second position here, which was closed separately, manually, not with my take profit. So I'm going to go ahead and get into that. Let me close this one right here. Okay, cool. So as we see here, we have the Eurocad, and this is just over the last couple of days. I'm going to go ahead and just zoom in a little bit more so we can see this, so we can see exactly the scenario. So this is the day today. I was actively trading this one actually from last night till this morning. So it will technically be closed out this morning, but it was well after midnight when this trade actually happened. So it wasn't technically yesterday, but I'll refer to it as last night because it just is easier. Now, so last night I took this trade after noticing this area of support here, which I can extend this blue line. This is actually where I entered at, but it was also off this support line. So I'm going to just go ahead and extend this just a little bit further. You guys will still see that my entry is still in the same place and my take profits are all here with my stop loss being about there. But I noticed this level of support holding. And for whatever reason, the price had been on an uptrend. So I was thinking, you know what? The price may be coming down. It held at this level. It more or less retraced down to the previous break point before price went on this nice rally towards the upside, where we created this nice new swing high. And as you could tell, we created that nice swing high and price just went stagnant and dropped down. Now, that's the level that I mentioned here, in which it created one support level. It was revisited numerous times here and here as well. So by the third time I seen the market coming into this area, I already seen that it had failed to create any significant higher highs. It failed to have momentum that followed through. And then I seen that it definitely came back down here to actually revisit this support level once again. Now, since I seen all those things and I seen that this previous swing came up here and fell short of even the most recent swing high, which was a shallow swing high and even lower than the previous swing high, which initially started this, retracement. I used all those and put two and two together and felt like, you know what, since price is now creating lower highs, technically not lower lows yet, but price is still kind of finding interest at this level. It just all to me added up that once price got to here, if it wasn't going to break higher beyond this level, that the chances of it going and reaching up higher just became lower. So I used that probability in conjunction with the fact that it made a lower high here and seeing that, okay, if price breaks to this level and it does not, and this level doesn't hold, I'm going to enter right off that level. Because here, as you could tell, price came along to here and it instantly became stagnant. Price touched it and it just pulled away quickly. We didn't get that same reaction here. We had a full momentum bar that came into this area. So once I seen that, it was clear to me that I'm going to enter this trade. And then I already knew exactly where I'd put my stop loss, which was about this level right here. Not even at this level. I wanted it to be at this level right here where there was previous wicks at, where price was not even able to sustain to break higher above this level here. So I knew I'm going to put my stop loss here. And then I was going to enter right here. And then I calculated a 2-to-1 ratio based on this level right here. I did take a little bit longer to enter my trade while I was calculating these numbers. So instead of entering closer to the start of this candle, this thing moved relatively fast. So I was only able to get my market order in at this point. But I was anticipating this trade from the break of this level right here once I seen this thing fall. Now I had my stop above this level about a pip or so, so I wasn't affected. And within 2 hours, the market had dropped down and came towards my take profit, in which, as you can see from my first trade here, the take profit was hit. Now that's where I got out on my first trade. Now my second trade, I did let run a little bit further in anticipation that if it was gonna go ahead and reach the ADR of the day. Now I mentioned the ADR in a previous video of mine, and it's just the daily projection of the amount of pips that either market may like cover for the day. So if, for example, if say the Eurocad had a ADR, which was 200, it would be anticipating the market would move about 200 pips for the day. And if, you know, we go back to the scenario here where I took my trade at, the market already moved a significant amount of pips for the day. I think the ADR was maybe like 30 or 40 more pips towards the downside. And once I seen price getting to my take profit and kind of going stagnant, that's when I started to put the scenario together and realize, okay, it's Friday. It's relatively close towards the end of the day at this point. It was like maybe 5 or 6 a.m. So I knew like the New York session was opening. And if the New York session wasn't going to be pushing this trade down or pushing this pair down further, then it probably didn't have much more to go. So that's why I closed my second position relatively close to my take profit initial area. I think it was a little bit higher. Once I seen price come up here, and then it didn't necessarily like it wasn't able to sustain going down. It ended up closing up and engulfing this previous bar. That's when I think I got out of the market. And yeah, let's see here, 535. So yeah, around the close of this candle right here is when I got out, and I was pretty much done with this market. And as you could tell, it went actually back up to around my entry area and then found some form of a retest there as well, because you guys know I love trading these patterns. As you can see, let me go ahead and minimize this part of the screen here. There is a nice level of support here, which when we see breaks, we like to see the breakout, retest of a support zone, and then we like to see it fall further. Now, since I was already, like I mentioned, done with my initial trade for the day, already at this point right here before price had retraced up to this zone, and I was still in one position a short, I didn't want price to come back and retest here because I'm still in that position. So I simply closed out my position before leaving the market to come up here and I didn't know that the market may hold here or not, and none of us can ever really anticipate that. So initially, I did the safe thing, the smart thing, which was to close out and cover my position, especially since I knew that the weekend is going to be here and the market often will gap either up, down, or just stay where it is. And with all those factors in place, I knew that it didn't make sense to hold on too much longer for this pair. Despite seeing that this thing retraced up to here, I did not enter again. I was already out of this market. But now that I see it, and as we go into Sunday, of course, if we get another retest into this area and we see it hold, then I will gladly look to see if there is any opportunities to take this trade more towards the downside. But I'm not a future teller, and I can't say that that is what's going to happen. So as of now, we accepted our profits that we were able to book from the Eurocad, and that's pretty much it for what we did today. I do want to get into the GBP USD trade that I mentioned, the guys, and show you guys how everything did pan out. So initially, when I entered this, when I put this market up, let me just refresh it now so that hopefully it won't show it or it won't have all the bars loaded, and I'll be able to click those things up. Okay, cool. So since we have it like this now, you guys can see, yeah, I'm on here as Flow Trade Collective. There's a couple people who follow me now. You'll see a bunch of my charts and ideas that I post on there. I'm pretty new to it, but I do plan to stay consistent. I like how transparent it is. It allows me to almost create signals without, um, actually, selling a signal. Like this is just free. I just want to do it so that you guys can see how I trade, and also since I'm doing the self-study series, I figure it goes hand in hand to be able to put, you know, this stuff into action and, show you I practice what I preach. I actually do this, the stuff that I talk about. So let me go ahead and load these bars. Initially, I entered this based on the same principles that were in the EuroCAD, except for that support holding, it actually broke through. So we were able to take that trade towards the downside. For this one specifically, we had a level of support, we had a level of resistance, which is now acting as support, and which we wanted this one to hold. So we had a long position where our target was previous swing high and our stop was just above the previous swing low, which is also the area in which we were retesting into the break zone before we had this rally towards the upside. So let's just see what was going to happen here. And it was about a 2-to-1 ratio. So I'm going to go ahead and load this up now. And as you could tell, this market went stagnant. It was going up steadily, creating higher highs, higher lows for quite some time. And it more or less went sideways for the first several hours, first 10 or 12 hours. At no point did the market come down to retest my stop until it started to come back down towards that support area I mentioned. And that support area did in fact hold, and price maybe came within 5 pips of my stop loss, but it never actually came and touched my stop loss. So it was no worries. You guys got to realize that when you're trading, the market is either going to respect structure or it's not going to respect structure. And if it doesn't respect structure, you don't want to break your own rules to try to fit the market in that specific scenario, because you have times where the market has no limits. It can go as far or as down as it wants to go. Now, I only say that to say I had my stop relatively tight here, and some people may have been, you know, swayed or pressured into maybe moving their stops wider just because, but you never want to do that. You want to let your position run. If it's going to close out and hit your stop, that's why we have risk management in place to make sure that our losses are always contained and managed, and that our wins are going to always exceed our losses. Now, this video isn't necessarily about that too much, but I do want to just make that a point because this stop loss was very close to being triggered, and it took a lot of discipline and patience, and also like I wasn't even available to see it. So I set my parameters and I let the trade do its thing. And about a day and a half later, we finally get these results here, in which we were triggered for profit probably within the first maybe 15 to 16 hours. but within 24 hours, we were fully in profit for this position and out of it. So that's just one example of how I use Trading View. And if you guys want to, be involved and get the updates when I'm doing these, like I mentioned, I do often post these charts and analysis breakdowns before I actually am out of the trade. So these are usually happening maybe sometimes before I'm entering the trade or even while I'm entering the trade. So it's a good way to be able to see and take, you know, be able to take a back seat role to how I'm trading or a passenger seat role to how I'm trading and like tag along with me and just kind of apply these principles with me, But follow me on that. It's Flow Trade Collective, and then you'll be able to see the various different charts and ideas that I post. I'm usually pretty in depth on where I'm at with the trade. I usually give my entries, my exits, and then my risk to reward ratio, and then also the percentage that I'm risking on the trade. So it's pretty thorough, and you know, I wouldn't necessarily say everybody has to trade with me, but if you want to just watch along to see how I'm doing, then hey, it might help you. It might be able to shed some light on something that maybe you were, struggling with or having some difficulties with. This is still all learning to me. I'm still learning how to become a better trader every day. So, I do consider myself professional, but I know that there's much more to learn and there's a whole lot more to grasp because I trade a certain way and somebody else might trade a different way. So, that's pretty much it for this breakdown video, y'all. We already went over the Eurocad and the two shorts that I took on that one. And then also this GBP USD, which was taken just about 3 days ago. So this was on the 24th. Today's the 27th. So yeah, pretty much it for this one, y'all. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay positive, stay profitable. And yeah, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you got any questions, comments, leave them below. If you guys do want to stay on top of the notifications and get the newest updates from my videos, then I would suggest you guys to subscribe as well. That was wordy as hell and might have been awkward, but definitely just subscribe if you like this. And I definitely will be releasing more videos and becoming better at my deliveries and just hoping to give you guys more trading jewels and gems. So until the next time, y'all, peace.